Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Breakers Creations. Welcome to today's live stream. I am already tripping over my words, so that's a great start. Welcome to you all. Thank you for joining me. As usual, I'll do my little hellos. So hello to Jack68K, hello Foxhound477, hello to, welcome to Macintosh, SadMac356, Jay from the House of Moth, Enzo Fitzhume, and of course anyone else who has just joined. Please jump on and say hi so I can say hi right back at you. It is hot here today. I am going to prove it to you by clicking on this button here where you can see the little temperature there at 12:30 today, so just after midday, and it is currently 39 degrees Celsius, which is freaking hot. And in actual fact, if this morning when I got up for a walk, about, I don't know, it was 8 o'clock or something like that, it was already 30 degrees. So, loving it. Yeah, you like the shirt? Here's my shirt, my blep shirt. I love it when cats blep. So this live stream will basically last as long as I am able to tolerate being down in the shed. If I sit myself just about here, hovering right in front of the air conditioner, I can actually get myself to almost a level of comfort, but not quite. I have new spectacles. I don't know if anyone will actually notice. If you did notice, congratulations to you. But I have got some new spectacles. This sort of like a, what would you call it? Kind of a charcoaly sort of clear sort of thing. And so far I'm feeling pretty darn good about them. They're, you know, a fairly significant change to my prescription, and I can read my watch so much better now. I love it. They're multifocals. So, K-Mac Vintage, hello there, Will. I'm just going to grab myself some refreshment. Maybe a second. But yeah, it is crazy freaking hot. Let's see if we can see that get over to 40. They're saying that it will get to 40 probably in the next hour. So we'll see if I can stay on long enough for that. They make me look pretty fly for a white guy. I like that. Yes. Remember that song by, what's her name? Thingy? With the lead singer, Dexter Holland. I can remember the name of the lead singer, but I can't remember the name of the band. He's got a bloody PhD in something. Something to do with diseases or something like that. He's a very, very smart guy. You wouldn't think it, but he is a very, very... Offspring, yay. This is a very smart guy. Got to keep him separated. Love that band. Always been a huge Offspring fan. So even when I can't remember the name of the band. Okay, so... what's interesting? Okay, I recently got myself one of those jump starters. You know those things that you jump start your car with? And I got one that's got a built-in air compressor. And I have just been absolutely blown away by how awesome it is. Not only does it have huge amounts of power for jump starting a car, it will jump start batteries even if they are absolutely dead flat. But it can inflate a tyre, you know, I mean, well, I inflated a tyre from probably about 20 psi to about 35 psi, so a pretty flat tyre. I did that in just a matter of minutes. So yeah, really, really impressive stuff. It's a Jaeger Auto, something. I don't know, I can't remember. I'll look it up if anyone's interested. But very, very impressed with it. I've been looking to get one for a while, and then this one just it reached out to me. Got a very good review from what are they? Project Garage something. I can't remember what they're called. That guy that talks really fast and really high and then does all the reviews of the things. And now, what's that one? Quicksilver Oz, hello there. In pre-press, I used to say we got a colour separated. Oh dear, colour separations, eh? Remember DCS? Remember desktop colour separations? That was a thing for a while. But then eventually, sort of, computers and hardware and networks just caught up, and there was really no need to use DCS anymore. Project Farm, that's it. Project Farm. Yep, I knew someone would know. It's a fairly popular channel. He's got 1 or 2 subscribers. So anyhow, he's been doing reviews of these jump starter things for ages, but he just did one a few months ago, and they're just improving at a rate of knots. Those jump starter things. They're obviously it's a big market, and this one's, you know, pretty darn impressive. Now, I did a video a while ago, and it was this Macintosh IIsi power supply. and it's a reloaded board. And I think this one was designed by Kai Robinson, and there's some really nifty things that he's done. The problem with these is that there are now, sort of, I think, better alternatives available. Someone like Will from KMac on his store. I'm not sure he's fulfilling orders at the moment because I think he's away from home. But there are these options available where you can get PCBs and you basically just plonk these power supplies on top, and with a couple of little transistors or whatever, maybe a diode or something here somewhere, you just get this power supply. All you have to do is you just swap over the cabling, which I have here somewhere. I hope I have here somewhere. Where's the cabling? It's got to be somewhere. But anyhow, you just grab the cabling to plug it into the computer. Where is the cable? I might have to steal one from another power supply, but never mind. And then, it's a really, really easy solution of getting a modern, updated power supply that isn't going to have all the problems. Because the 2SI power supply has problems. It has fairly significant problems. So, what are you going to do? I feel like I'm missing some bits. Because I had there's a little daughter board. I found that. That's important. It has this thing here. It has leaky caps all over it. Now, Kai Robinson made this reproduction, and that's absolutely fantastic. I've got hats off to him, and he did some really cool things, because this original is a one-sided board. You got the what do you call them, traces and stuff on this side, nothing on this side. Now, the downside to being a one-sided board is any time you end up with a situation where two traces have to cross each other, what they end up having to do is run these little bridges. You have a look here, you can see these little metal, all it is just a little metal bridge, and that's just designed to join from one side of the board through, go over top of a trace. So that happens when traces overlap. And so that's a bit of a pain from a build point of view. You've got to go in and put all these little wire things in. But when Kay redesigned this, he redesigned it as a two-layer board. So he's actually got all of those little joiners that this had all just wired into the board itself. So you don't have to worry about putting any of those on when you're rebuilding this. So that's a really nifty thing. So, look, this is a great thing, and I have a great deal of faith that this is going to work when I'm finished with it. But at the end of the day, if it was, this was donated to the channel, and I appreciate that very much, came from, Colin from This Does Not Compute, and I really appreciate him donating it to the channel. But if it was coming out of my own hard-earned, I'd be more likely to buy one of those modern replacements, either the ones that use the Pico ATX, or those ones where you just plonk on new power supplies. So, good stuff there. So, Mr. Tech Gadget, hello there. Now, in the part one, I started this. I moved a whole bunch of things over. That was exciting. We all had a great time, and we had lots of laughs. And it was, seriously, it was one of the best times ever. But now we've got to continue, and basically continuing involves just removing all of these components, taking from here across to here, and then in the instance of these capacitors, I'll replace them with new ones. I'm not going to put old ones on. The only old ones that I have put on are these two here, and that's because I don't have replacements for them. Who to blame for that? I don't know. We can find someone to blame for that. This little guy has to go back on, but I'm not going to put him on until I've put all the other components in, because he sort of slots over top of these things, I think, like that, or like that. And it's going to be a bit fiddly working on this with this in place. So we'll do all the soldering around here first, so that this crap doesn't get in the way. And then we'll put our little daughter board in, and then see how we go. Might even get it to a stage where I can test it today. We'll see. Hot. Very hot. It's lovely and cool inside the house. Got beautiful air conditioning up there. All right. My cat decided to say hi by walking across the keyboard. They do that. There was one time, and I had my laptop open, and it was in the middle of a chat with my, sort of friends like Jay and Steve and Dana and that, and we have a little group chat, and we had been chatting, and I had left the laptop, so I had headed off somewhere else, and then the cat decided to start walking on the keyboard, and it was right near the return key. So it would do a couple of letters and then return, and then a couple of letters and return. And then a couple of them came up, and then Jay just responded with something like, "Hello, kitty," or something like that, because he knew it was a cat. And then it just kept going and going and going and going, you know, sort of like couple of letters return, couple of letters return, couple of letters return. And then Jay just commented, you know, this could go on for a while. Ah, dear. Hello, Tourette's on 1892. Hello there. Hello, Rudy. Hello, Rudy. I haven't seen you in ages. Welcome. Video keeps pausing every few seconds for me. Okay, I'm all green lights here at the moment, so that's not to say that YouTube isn't running into some grief. The little green light up here says excellent, so it's telling me the connection is good, but it is not unusual for sometimes there to be problems, and who knows where the source of that problem is, but you know. Right, well, I suppose I may as well start working on this thing. I'm probably just putting it all off because I'm so freaking hot, but, you know. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is put on this little... See, here's the old board, here's the new board. Pretty easy. Take off from the old, put onto the new. This capacitor here has been replaced. So I will remove this one so that it doesn't confuse me into thinking that it still needs to be done. I'll turn my soldering iron on. This is the soldering iron that I reviewed relatively recently. I've had quite a few views for that product review. People do seem to like the product reviews. They do get good view numbers, and I've been really happy with it. Am I desoldering the wrong thing? I feel like I am. Or is that it? Oh, come on, where is it? Stuck on somewhere. There. Unsolder. Do it. There we go. It's out. Okay, so this is an old capacitor. It looks pretty crunchy. It looks like this has been leaking quite a bit, so not good. Not good. We don't like it. Let me zoom in a little bit here. There we go. Can I? How's that? Might need to move it down a smidge. Just going to move the camera physically here. There we go. It makes a bit of a farty noise when I move it, but, you know. Is that a reproduction daughter board? It sure is. And I actually, when Colin gave this to me, he gave me the base one and he gave me the daughter board. And he gave me like, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these. He obviously got 10 done or something like that. So he just gave me a bunch of them. Not that I actually need that many, but, you know, yeah, it's a little reproduction daughter board. How nifty is that? Frame rate seems good here too. That's good. I'm pleased to hear it. So yeah, that's already been done. That, you know, I mean, that's obviously part of the time it took me in part 1 was doing that. I've got a few bits and bobs here for heat sinks and stuff like that. I am curious about the cable. I must have taken that off. I mean, I do have... this is the cable that connects to the computer, which sort of plugs into, I think, is it here? I think there. And then the cable hangs out the bottom of the case. And I mean, I'm sure I have it somewhere, but it doesn't seem to be in the bag, so it's either fallen out or... But I know I have multiple power supplies, so I shouldn't have any problem getting hold of one of those. But that's just kind of like the last stage for that one anyway. Right. Relay. Gotta love a good old relay, eh? Interesting thing about relays, if you're going to put something in an ultrasonic cleaner, make sure you remove the relays first. Relays do not like going into ultrasonic cleaners because they generally have... I'll show you when I get to the... looking at the other side of this board. So this little relay straddles between the primary and the secondary part of this power supply. Yeah, gotta love power supplies, don't you? Aren't they just gorgeous? So here's a relay, and you can see that it's enclosed, but it is not sealed. It's not sealed airtight or watertight for that matter. And so if I were to drop this into an ultrasonic cleaner, when I take it out, this is still going to have water inside it. And even after drying, it's still going to have water inside it. So there are 2 things you can do. You can either take the cover off, which some relays don't let you do without, you know, sort of some dremeling, which I don't recommend because you never know, particularly if they're not clear like this, you don't know what's where inside. You could just dremel into it and just cut one of these little wires on the little electromagnet. So So I generally recommend, it's not that hard with relays. They're usually great big fat pins, nice and easy to remove. If you are ultrasonicking anything, leave the relay off for the clean. Okay, so this is pretty easy to put on because the pins are actually, they're not, what do you call it, symmetrical, so you can only really put this on one way. So I'm going to do that. Big chungus part there. Oh, warm. Glad I'm not in Sydney. 39 degrees here is normal temp. -8. Is that a minus in front of that? That's crazy. No, I will be having none of that. Thank you. I don't like any temperature with a minus in front of it. So I don't know. Has anyone got the Fahrenheit-y conversion-y thing? They can tell us what 39 degrees is in Fahrenheitings. I'm guessing it's like about 100 or something like that. I mean, generally in Celsius, if it's above 30, it's hot. If it's above 40, it's ridiculous. Hello, Carl GP. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Isn't it it is a nice New Year, actually. I'm enjoying this New Year so far. Some New Years I'm sort of like, but I'm actually pretty happy around this time of year. There we go. So there goes a relay happily on there. Doesn't he look good? Doesn't it look good, that relay? It's funny that there is a relay there, because, I mean, in all the reproduction modern ones, they don't have a relay on them, so why a relay was necessary back then but not anymore, I don't know. Someone with some electronics knowledge might be able to tell us that. Now, what's supposed to go there? Nothing, I guess. There's nothing there. In this C16 space here, it's just blank. I'm just going to load up my recapping guide, because I probably have that. There you go. LC, that's what we were doing last time. Got that LC power supply working real well. 2SI power supply. Just going to have a look and see if that is actually an empty thing. Yep, it's an empty thing. It's an empty thing, all right. It's meant to be empty. So we won't say any more about it. I've got this around. Is it about that way? No. Is it about that way? Is it about that way? That way. Yep. Okay. Well, no problem. Empty it is. All right, let's move some of the... I'm going to move some of these little components down here. These little annoying ones. And I'm just going to do those one at a time. So we've done... That's around that way. And... That's that one. What? Huh? Yeah, okay. We'll start with this little diodales here. D305. And, yep, the line's on the bottom. I thought to myself, geez, I'm going to nail this. I'm going to get this done so fast in this live stream, I'll be figuring out what to do next. And then I start looking at all these little diodes and resistors and think, this is going to take me freaking ages. How's everyone doing? Anyone working on any projects, doing anything interesting? Always interested to hear about what people have been up to. Relay is used for the... Yeah, I knew it was used for the soft power, but why is it not needed anymore? How come we can build these fancy new ones that still work with the soft power, but don't need the relay anymore? Tell me that, my good sir. Well, you'd be the best person to ask. Working on a switch light. Just swap the Wi-Fi IC from a data. Cool. MOSFETs. Is that like when someone says, like, magnets? As just as a general answer for something? How did that happen? Magnets. I'm going to try not to lose this little diode here. I think it's a Xena diode. I think these are the ones that they block power until it gets to a certain amount and then they start letting power through. But if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. I'm not so precious about that sort of stuff. Box of, hang on. So, box of PS3s that need fixing. Figured today would be a good time to start. That sounds like a great fun project. I assume they're someone else's and not yours, and you're not just going to set yourself up with lots and lots and lots of PS3s. Pico ATX unit handle the soft power all with a transistor that is used. Okay, on our mean well, there is no Pico ATX, so it needs the relay again. Oh, okay. All right. There you go. Along with, okay, cool. Sorry, guys, just got to stay hydrated because it's bloody hot. I have to keep live streaming until that number changes to a 40. Because I don't think I've ever had a live stream with a 40. And we all know how important that is. Time for a little relay. I mean, resistor, not relay. I've got relays on the brain. I'm having ribs for dinner tonight. I know I generally like to inform people what I'm having for dinner, so I thought today would be no exception. It's a nice weekend fare. Local arcade with rooms full of busted consoles. Wow. I know you were toying with that as a path, Jay. Is that something that you're now happy to go down? Sort of go in and work on these consoles. I love it. I love the idea of you sort of back in the saddle with the old soldering iron. Jay used to repair Mac laptops. And he even used to live stream it sometimes, but he doesn't live stream anymore. Despite me complaining constantly and saying, live stream that, Jay. People want to see it. I'm such an encouraging individual. Life shit, yeah, we've all been there. I hear you. Guy is here. Hello there. So just as I was saying at the beginning of the live stream, this board is actually designed by Kai, and once again a huge thank you for putting all the little bridges across here, turning it in. Basically, thank you for turning a one layer board into a two layer board. Makes life a lot easier for putting it together. Still 39. Don't forget to let me know if that changes to 40. Sing out. Say something in the comments. Can't stand single layer board with links. Yeah, I think in this day and age with the incredibly low cost of getting boards made, it would be a little bit silly not to just do a two-layer board. I mean, once upon a time, of course, getting PCBs would have been quite expensive, but with companies now like PCBWay and JLC PCB that are able to punch out these prototype boards, quantities of them, you can get, say, 10 of them or something like that for just a few dollars. It's wonderful it's a wonderful thing, I think, for creativity. You know, so you have someone who says, you know, I've got this idea of a thing, I want to build a thing, and it just makes it so much easier for people to go ahead and build that thing. Colin is here. Hello there. Oh, don't say that, Colin. I have it on very good authority that there's nothing wrong with this board at all, and it will work perfectly first go. But, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, if it does blow up, it does make for good content, doesn't it? I could probably replace some of these resistors, but they don't look too bad, and they're not a, you know, main failure point or anything like that, so I'm sort of generally feeling that probably okay. A very productive evening. For giggles, thought I'd test the AMD B450 board I got in the mail that got bent on one corner. Popped a CPU in it, found 32 gigabytes of RAM, and it boots. Well, there you go. Hot. Hot. Shall we say hello to the chickens? Colin's here, so we've got to say hello to the chickens. Chooks. Hello, Chooks. It's a little bit hard for them at the moment because they're really not designed for this sort of heat. Sorry about the jerky vision there. I don't know why it's so jerky vision. But maybe if I refresh it. If I go something like... what if I go here to... Is there an option here for me to refresh or something? Doesn't appear to be. What if I do this? Network buffering. Okay. Oh, look at that. That did something. And then we'll go back up here to 16. There we go. There we go. So the white one on the right hand side is a Sussex, and then the one directly next to it on the left of it is a Brahma, and then the one up the top, which is sort of eating from a bowl, that is another Brahma. There are a few others that are missing. They can't be too far away because, you know, it's an enclosure there. There's another Sussex somewhere, and there's an Australorp and another one which is a kind of a mix between two. So there we go. Hello, chickens. Hope you're enjoying the heat. A little bit later, I am going to put the water spray thingy on them. I have this thing that sprays water, just like a mist, just sort of sprays a mist, and I'll probably put that on them to help keep them cool. They don't like the spraying water, but it is definitely cool. So I just have to go with what's best for them, not necessarily what they like. That's what we do in the retro community. We design stuff, then Bruce is the QA department. Ah, dear. I have tested quite a few things like this, and I've got to be honest. I mean, I do love doing it. I love. It's not like oh wow, I'm the first to be doing it or anything like that. I love building stuff. I love soldering. And I kind of love the joy of, of finding out whether these things work or not, and potentially being involved in any discoveries to help getting them going and all that sort of stuff. I unfortunately I came to a grinding halt with my Quadrant 950 rebuild. Bowl was kind enough to send me a Quadrant 950 repro board, and I'm like, that's perfect because I've got a Quadrant 950 board in the cupboard, and I will be able to build it and all that sort of stuff. So bringing joy to the heart and all that sort of stuff. But it turned out that I didn't have a Quadrant 950 board. I had a Quadrant 900 board. The 900s aren't labelled what they are, so that's how it confused me. The 950s do actually say 950 on them, but the Quadrant 900s just have a code. And when I did a search for that code at one stage, Google, in its infinite wisdom, actually brought up the image of a Quadrant 950. So I was like, oh, sweet, it's the right one. But alas, no, it was not the right one. And so that did come to a grinding halt. Now, he did say that there's a good chance I can still get that board to work using the Quadra 950 components. Sorry, the Quadra 900 components. But they're all numbered differently. So I would have to put them down based on their physical position rather than their code. And I sort of feel like with the amount of work involved in building it, that could be a nightmare. And yeah, I don't know. I might just wait and see if I get hold of a Battery Bomb 950 one day. I have a Quadra 950. It works beautifully. So I'm happy about that. I had a friend who got a tip off about someone who is selling a few Quadra 950s. And so he grabbed the nicest ones and gave me one of the ones. The one I have doesn't have the key, but everything else about it works beautifully. Yes, you do still need to get that 2FX board from me. On the bright side, I bought some specially sized boxes. So I found a box making company that make boxes, and I ordered a whole stack of boxes, and I have them now, and they are a perfect sized box for shipping that 2FX board. So now all it has evolved is me getting that board. I want to test it before sending it to you, obviously. Proper testing. I've done testing as in chime and startup, and yeah, isn't that great? But I'd like to do some proper testing, check the serial ports, check the ADB ports and all that sort of stuff. And so I want to do all that, and then I can ship it off to you, because I've got this beautiful... I mean, the box is so perfectly sized. Even when you get it, you're going to go, wow, this box is perfectly sized. Okay, we're moving along. And I've got a PowerBook 100 there I've got to put back together for a customer. It's all been recapped, it's all good. The only thing wrong with it is the backlight is a little bit dim, but that is apparently quite normal. I did a bit of investigation and a bit of, ringing around, not really, but it's research, and apparently those backlights because they're like a little fluorescent-y type thing, they get dim with age. So yeah, I would love to cheap. Look, the 950 that I got wasn't cheap, but it wasn't the price we're talking about today. I paid at the time a fair chunk of change, but if you compare it to what people are paying for 950s now, I did incredibly well. And it works. It works beautifully. I think I've got a bunch of 16s in one bank. So what is that? It's at 128 megabytes or something like that. But at the other bank, I don't think I've got that much in there. I need to pull it out and check, actually. Every time I do these live streams and I talk about some of the old Macs that I have, I'm just like, I walk away thinking, I just want to pull that out and have some fun with it, yeah. 950 board. Oh, you have a 950 board. Okay. Swap me a 950 board. Fair enough. Is the 950 board in a poor state? I would love because I've only got one 950 case, and I would love to get that 950 and put it into a stupid case. Like I've got I don't know, like an old G5 case. I've got a bunch of old G5s, G5 towers. Imagine whacking a Quadra 950 into a G5 tower case or something like that. How cool is that? Yeah, maximum RAM in the 950 is 256 megabyte. It's the one with the highest capacity that still takes 30-pin SIMs. And 30-pin SIMs, they peak at 16 megabytes, so you can load it up with 8 16s, and that'll give you 256 megabytes. And that's its peak. That's its top. And I don't think there's any other Mac, the Quadra 900, I should say, 900 and 950, they're the only ones that you could actually put that much RAM in. It was a battery bomb board, but only the bottom two SIM slots were affected. That's not bad at all. That sounds like a great deal. So the 16 meg SIMs, which I still have here, I really should make mention of these, because Will kindly sent these across. So, people buy these, because these are awesome. So these are So they're 30-pin SIMs, but they're using these more modern chips, and I think they even have blinky lights, don't they, for access? Yeah, they've got one of those little ATI tiny thingies, whatever it is, on the back. So these actually blink when they're reading and writing, I think. So, that's novelty, but it's cute. I mean, actually, it's novelty, but it can also be used as a good diagnostic tool from time to time. But But yeah, these are 16 megabytes. He very kindly sent me 8 of them. And, you know, the thing about them is that they are just so awesome. I haven't really figured out which computer deserves them, which computer is awesome enough for them. Part of me wants to put them into my SE30 that has the grayscale. So I've got a Macintosh SE30 that's got the Bowles grayscale recreation, so you can actually run grayscale on that black and white monitor. And part of me kind of wants to put them in that, because then that just makes it the most awesomely decked out SE30 ever. Way better than Sean from Action Retros, which is not entirely true, because he's got way more stuff in his, but you know. Yeah, part of me wants to do that, but then at the same time, part of me also wants to stick it into my Macintosh IIsi, because my Macintosh IIsi has a Radius Rocket 040 board in it, and you actually put the RAM on the rocket itself. And I love the idea of loading up that Radius Rocket with the 16 meg sims. I mean, 128 megabytes in that. That would just be so awesome. Drive cage. Okay. Yeah, I imagine you could probably, you know, design and 3D print a drive cage that would be functional in the 950. I would say so. Heart's not in it anymore, I hear you. I just sold a classic car recently. Oh, just bear with me a sec. A few weeks ago, I sold my 1970 Dodge Phoenix, which I've owned since 2013. 383 big block engine, lovely car. Bought it, love it, but then my heart just wasn't in it anymore, and it just made no sense for that car to be in my driveway, taking up all that space, slowly decaying, when I just didn't have the passion for it anymore, so I sold it. You know, it just makes so much more sense for someone else to love it, rather than it just be decaying in my driveway. Sometimes you just got to know when to say goodbye. It'd be nice. I would love it. It's a little bit early in the day for me to be drinking alcohol. I'm not saying that it never happens. I mean, for instance, I'm going out to lunch tomorrow, and I will certainly be having lunchtime drinks for that. But today's just more of a normal day. So even though the heat really does just scream out, drink beer or cocktails or something, yeah, I won't be doing that. Maybe a little later I will have a few drinks while watching TV. But yeah, this is I find it pretty hard to justify daytime drinking today. I don't really have anything to celebrate, although, I don't know. Celebrate it being Saturday. Come on. Get in there. There we go. Mark Anning, hello there. Happy New Year to you too. Enjoy the pink test. Yes, I did enjoy the pink test. It was the best game of the entire freaking series. Went the full 5 days. I mean, you know, they were good. They were both getting good totals. You know, good defending, good playing. I mean, you know, I feel like I've been completely robbed with the Ashes this year, because I just felt. I mean, some of the games they went for 2 days. They meant to go for 5 days, and they were all over in 2 days. And I'm like, do you guys have an appointment you want to go to or something? I mean, can you just calm down and play some decent cricket? But yeah, the pink test was a good one. I enjoyed that immensely. So thank you for mentioning that. And the reason why we call it the pink test is because it's part of a big sort of sponsorship type thing around the McGrath Foundation, which have a whole series of, what would you call them? They're kind of helpers for women going through breast cancer, and it's a really good organisation, and they're basically designed to, you know, help, because it's named after I can't remember the name of his wife, but Glenn McGrath and his wife, I can't remember her name, but she died of breast cancer. And so they set up this organisation called the McGrath Foundation, and they take donations, and everyone wears pink on the day as part of, you know, Oh, they're pink for the test. Pink test. Jade McGrath, that's it. But yeah, it was competitive. It was good. I want to get my Mac Plus flyback sorted if I can. Oh, if someone has some magical way of repairing Mac Plus flybacks or sourcing Mac Plus flybacks, please come forward, because it's just one of the really frustrating things. Because it's not just the Mac Plus that's affected. You've got the original Macintosh, that's the 128K, the 512K, 512KE, and the Plus. I think it's a different one for the SE and the SE30, but you've got all those Macs. They all use pretty much the same flyback. There were 2 different variations you could use with those. The later variation is the better one. But I mean, they go, and then you're sort of just like, well, my only option is to steal one from another one. So the hope is that you get hold of another one where something else is broken and the flyback's good, so you can grab the flybacks. Early SEs use the same. There you go. So yeah, it's good to know they're pin compatible with the ones from the SE. Yeah, I'm surrounded by these analog boards. I should probably just look at it and actually, and then I can make my own decision. So this is a Mac Plus, and this is the old flyback, and you can tell it's the old one. It's pretty narrow. If you have a look at the pins on the underside, you see there's this row of pins around the middle, and then there's these row of pins around the outside. So the outside one is the latest sort of flyback they started using. They're better, they're more durable. If you can get hold of the bigger ones, the round, wider ones, they are definitely better to have. This one here, I think this one has no flyback on it. Yep, this one has no flyback on it. So that's one that I either raided the flyback or the flyback is dead, and I haven't found a new one yet. Ah, dear. But yeah, if anyone gets hold of those flybacks, a stash of them, new old stock or something, please share them with the world. We need them. Alright, what have we got here? It's got 3 pins, so it's probably like a transistor or something. Maybe. I don't need to know, which is good. Because I'm just doing the dumb laborious stuff here, just moving things from point A to point B. I didn't really get a lot of solder off in that one. Someone, maybe, might notice that I'm actually using this manual solder sucker. I actually quite like using it. It's quite effective. It does remove the solder quite quickly and efficiently, but I would really only use it with like power supplies like this. If you use it with something smaller, it's got so much suction it runs the risk of actually damaging traces and pads and stuff. And I don't really care if I damage a trace or a pad on this, because I'm, abandoning it. I might actually just put that one to the side, because I think it'll be easier to put this in first. Got another little diode here. Microdiodular servo systems. That's the magic word. eBay seller in Florida that was selling new old stock. All the windings were fused. Oh, great. The Brucinator. I actually sent one of these suction-y things to Jay from the House of Moth, because it was actually, believe it or not, it was cheaper for me to buy them from my local J-Car and post them to him than it was for him to actually buy one on Amazon. They were, for some unknown reason, just really expensive to buy over there. So I just said, I'll buy one here and I'll send it to you. And I did. But they are a handy thing. They're nice and easy to clean. They have really good suction on them. I do have a mechanical one, but it drives me bananas. It's sort of it's a crap one. That's the mistake. It's a crap one. I should have bought a good one. But always trying to save a bit of money, save a few quid. Oh, come on. Do this without me having to burn myself. Ah, gotcha. You're in there. Okay. There we go. Oh, we got it! We hit the 4! Yay! Dana is here. Hello there. Don't short out the PSU by sweating on it. I'll try not to. I've got the air conditioner blowing directly on me at the moment. Well, sort of directly on me. Mostly on me. And it is giving me some relief. It's still very hot and uncomfortable down here, but it is better than if I didn't have this. If I didn't have this air conditioner on, I would probably be endangering my life being down here in this weather, to be honest. I mean, this is the sort of weather where, you know, people do end up sort of dying and stuff in this sort of heat. But we have a very, very good air conditioner in the main part of our house. It was by choice. I mean, when I moved into this house, there was an air conditioner, and it was unplugged. It looked like no one ever used it, probably because of the electricity bill. But I did plug it in one day and test it, and it was like, it works. Oh, wow, it does actually cool. That's amazing. So I used to use that, and it did a great job. It used a lot of electricity, very old, very inefficient, but it did cool the house pretty well. On a day like today, where it's 40 degrees, it would probably get the living area down to maybe high 20s, something like that. So a big difference. Still not cold, but big difference. And then a few years ago, you know, in particular, I'd updated the air conditioner in my office, and, you know, the guy who did it, he said, you have got to replace the air conditioner in your living room. He said, you'll end up just saving so much money because that thing is just going to be burning through electricity. So we eventually saved up and said, yeah, we had one really bad summer. We had several really bad summers in a row. And so we said, yep, let's replace it. And we got one which has got loads and loads of power, and it's life-changing. You know, you can, on a day that's 40 plus degrees C, you can just walk into that house and it's just like 21, 22, lovely. 0.5, hello there. Can't beat the suction power. Yeah, so anyhow, we're just working our way along. At the moment, I'm doing all these boring little components. They have to be done, though. So just moving everything from this onto this. This is all the... You get the little line here that you can actually see. And this side is the primary. Thankfully, it's labelled primary. And this is the secondary. So, what is it? This is the ouch side, and this is the not-so-ouch side. Right, so I'd like to get those ones off there next, I think. So we'll do him. I don't know why I assigned gender to that resistor, but I did for some reason. The expectation today, temperature-wise, they were originally saying 43. Usually the hottest part of the day here is around about 3 p.m. So we're still a couple of hours away, so we may well get to that, but I don't know. Oh, the stream froze for me earlier. Did you spot the little Easter egg on the PCB compared to the original? Oh, don't see that. I've got to look for something now, don't I? Easter egg. Looking for it. Ah, I think I found the Easter egg. Worthing instead of Singapore. Is that the Easter egg? I want that to be the Easter egg. One of them. Oh, don't do this. Looking. It's probably just staring at me at the moment and I can't find it. I don't know. Oh, Sony. TDNC instead of Sony? Would that be it? I think I got them. I think I got the two. Do. Out you come, you little resistor. Don't resist anymore. Ow. Tex Viking, hello there. Looks like I missed an hour of the fun. You did. But you'll be pleased to know that I was keeping it pretty toned down because I knew you weren't here. So now we can really start the party. Working on an SE30 floppy won't read or format disks. Anyone know of a good utility for checking head alignment and or spindle speed? Now, here's something I'm going to say about that. Very, very interesting. So, if you're in a situation where you're sort of, I mean, there can be a few things. The heads could be stuffed. That does happen. And sometimes you just need new heads. So, that's one possibility. But another thing can be the home location. So, when the heads move backwards and forward, there's a little worm gear that rotates and then it moves the thing backwards and forwards with the worm gear. The head assembly has a little piece of black plastic sticking out. And I might even have a drive floating around here somewhere that I can show you. But it has a little piece of black plastic sticking out. And it goes through like a little interrupter. There's a little light beam there. It's a little thing shaped sort of like that. And then the little black thing goes into it, boom, and then it goes, okay, that's the location. But you can adjust the home location by unscrewing a little thing and moving it forwards and backwards by minuscule amounts. And it's very, very tricky. I'm sure that Sony probably had some sort of fancy software for doing it and that back in the day, but I don't have that. But there is a guide on Tinker Different from a guy who very cleverly figured out a way where you can actually figure out the different positions. It's still fiddly. It's still a pain in the butt because you've still got to do all that, minute movement of the little interrupter thingy. But you can at least then, by viewing the worm gear, tell what position it is in. And so you can play around with that. Charlie's here. Hello there, Charlie. It is more fun when interactive. I would agree with that. Anyhow, that's one thing I would say. Do check out that guide on Tinker Different. It's in the resources section. I was going to do a video on it, and I may still. I contacted the guy and said, hey, mate, do you mind if I do a video on your thing? And I just haven't got around to it yet. And I did actually use it. I used it for a drive that I came across recently, and it worked. It was one that I couldn't get it to read and write disks properly. I made an adjustment to that home location, and bang, away it went, working. Right, what's this thing? What is that thing? I don't even know what sort of thing that is. It's like, is it a capacitor? I think it's a capacitor. Yeah, I think it's a capacitor. Floppy drives with the home alignment out are a bit of a pain. One thing I will say though, these are the sort of things I do for other people's computers. I generally don't worry for my own computers because I don't even really use the floppy drive anymore. With the sort of Blue SCSI and Zulu SCSI, and with their built-in Wi-Fi now, I don't transfer files to and from them with floppies anymore. I transfer disk images, and I will do that either with like FTP I've got like an FTP server that I keep maintained for myself for all the vintagey things, and so I just if I need to copy anything across to it, I just FTP it. No floppy for you. Mainly use a floppy drive to help other people recover data. Yeah, I mean, if I do seriously need to read a floppy disk, I'm probably more inclined these days to use one of the more modern drives with a floppy. You know, sort of something, one of the computers of a more recent era that are still able to read those old floppies. So, you know, that's probably what I'd be inclined to do. Yeah, because I mean, let's face it, they kept using floppies all through that PowerPC 604 type era. So you've got computers there that are, you know, a lot newer. I mean, they're still old, but they're a lot newer with floppy drives in them, and I generally use them. But of course, if you don't have them, you don't have them. Or if they don't do your suit your purpose. So for example, if you've got like a 400K disk, I don't think those new ones will read 400K disks. I could be wrong, but I don't think they do. This stuff is so nice. It's loaded up with sugar, but you know, what are you going to do? It's probably good for me. I'll tell myself that on a hot day like today, the excess sugar is probably good for me. Don't try and tell me otherwise. Another little diode. So many components. Yeah, I think Sony did make all the auto-inject ones. I did do a guide on cleaning those. I kind of would like an opportunity to do it again, as is often the case for anyone who does YouTubing. You often do videos and then you come back and look at them a few years later and you sort of think, oh God, I could do that so much better today. But I suppose that's the same with everything, isn't it? I get that with my coding as well. You know, I code something and then I might come back to it a few years later and I think, oh, why did you do it like that, you idiot? Thanks for joining Retro. Thanks for joining Rudy. There's nothing wrong with my brain today. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy whatever you're off to do now. Oh, stay down. You naughty diode. I'm trying to control this using a piece of metal so I don't burn my ear. Oh, this is being such a, I don't know, derogatory term. This is being such a derogatory term. There we go. That's a better. The what goes for 100 to 200 these days? So what's an MFD 75W? What is that? What are we talking about? Is that the floppy drive? I'm just going to finish this cheese, sorry. Too yummy. That would have been really nice with some vodka in it. Okay, another little capacitor. Bent pin. My least favourite thing is bent pins. And I know why they are done, but if you're someone who is doing rework, i.e. removing old components and replacing new ones, or just moving old components from one board to another like I'm doing now, bent pins are a big pain in the bottom. Nobody likes them. Okay, are you serious that those floppy drives are that expensive? That's just crazy. That's stupido. El stupido. I guess it comes down to the demand, doesn't it? I mean, if people are prepared to pay that because there are so few of them, then that's just what happens. Alright. I feel like I'm making progress. I feel like it's very boring progress, but I do feel like I'm making progress. Getting through it. Okay, we've got another little diode I'm taking off here. Thankfully the little lines are marked on here, so I don't even need to remember which way around they go. Diodes do need to go on the correct way around because that's what they're made for. And this one here, I can clearly see the line on the component, and I can clearly see the line on the board, so no ambiguity there. Whoa, whoa. You can drop it, but just not on the floor. Don't mind if it drops on the table, but if it drops on the floor, oh, I hate to think. Whew. I do prefer the auto-inject drives, and that's mainly because I think just from a design perspective, the drive can sit a little bit further back. When you push the disc in, it has a much greater sort of travel area. That's why when you have a look at all of the newer Macs, they all have these sort of indentations cut out of the floppy drives, because you've got to be able to get your finger in there because they don't eject as far. That's probably the main reason why I like them. I feel like that's a good reason. Don't you feel like that's a good reason? Yes, and a good ka-chunk, yeah. Right, so diode. Back to another capacity here. Okay, this one's one of those, what do they call them? I don't know, is it like the polymer or something? I don't know. These ones are plastic ones. Ow. Ow. Stop being so hot. Okay, gotta let that cool a little bit. There we go. Got it. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, this one again is not polarized, so this can just go in any way you like. This is 224F, I think, or something like that. It's testing my new glasses. I've got new glasses for anyone who wasn't at the beginning of the live stream. These are my new glasses. I very nearly went with a different design of frame, and then I just kind of liked the smoky clear of these. There's sort of, it's like a smoky plastic, but it's clear. And I like that. And I just went, yeah, that'll do. I did have some clear frames before, but they were the ones that I used just at the computer. So you used to see them when I was on the Mac show, but I didn't wear them outside of the house because they were just for working at the computer. Whereas these ones are my outside of the house ones. Ow, ow, ow. And then I've got these ones. These don't... Well, these are very similar. I wonder if they're exactly the same. I think they are exactly the same. Oh, no, these ones... Yeah, this one's definitely darker. This one's clearer. And these ones are a little bit darker. Cool. I'll get my little UV. See if I can... I've got the transitions lenses, you know, that makes them go dark. I've got some UV light here. Let's see if that makes it go dark. It does. Look, I've got a little dark dot there. Hey! Right, another resistor to remove, and then we can actually start getting some of these big chunkies. Looking forward to removing some of these big chunkies. You feel like you make much better progress when you're removing those. I need to buy a bunch of things, a bunch of components for the old blue SCSI. So I make the blue SCSIs from scratch, just from bare PCBs. I quite enjoy doing it. It's lots of surface mount components, but it's the sort of soldering that I really enjoy doing. Call me crazy. And I have got loads and loads and loads of some components, but then I've got other components where I've got like none left. So I can sort of build most of a blue SCSI now, but not all of it. So I need to order a few components so that I can actually go in and make some more, because I've got a whole stack of blank PCBs, got a whole stack of Raspberry Pi, whatever they are, Nanos, Picos, something O's, Cheerios, but is that yeah, that's it. R104. But one thing is for sure, I can never really have too many SCSI emulators, given how many vintage computers I have. Some of them still have the old version 1 blue SCSIs in them, and I'm generally trying to phase those out. One, because they are, sorry to say it, a little unreliable. But I mean, that's why the two got made in the first place. And of course the blue SCSI one is also a lot slower than the new ones. And the new ones have built-in Wi-Fi. So you can make your vintage Mac. You can put your vintage Mac onto Wi-Fi, which I love. See the internet. They got a lot of cool stuff on that internet. I'm going to be offloading some of my vintage collection relatively soon. Not because I want to necessarily get rid of it, but I do have a bit of a space issue. And I have, at the moment, I'm using a car that I don't drive as storage, and I want to sell that car. And so I have all these computers inside there will need a home. And I sort of don't really need all of them. Some of them are from an era of computing that Apple computing, that I kind of didn't like. Around about that sort of 603 PowerPC era with the all-in-ones that all looked kind of big and boxy, and now all the plastics are all brittle and all that sort of stuff. Like, was it like 5400 or is it 5200 or something like that? I've got a few of those. Three, oh, one, 101. 01011010. I'm going to have to unbendy these pins. What car? A Mitsubishi Magna, which I have owned since new in 2001. Bought it brand new. Really enjoyed that car. Did a lot of K's in it. Had a lot of fun. It's the Mitsubishi Magna Sports with a 3.5 litre V6 engine, 163 kilowatts of power, and a, was it 5-speed Tiptronic gearbox? Automatic Tiptronic gearbox. And back in those days, those Tiptronics were very desirable. These days, they're all over the place. No pigtail now. Okay, got a capacitor and a diode and a resistor, and then we can start moving some of these big chunky things. Some of the things that some of the vintage stuff that I have here, I never really got it for myself anyway. I've come across throughout my life, I've had various opportunities where someone has said, oh, you know, look, I've got this computer or whatever. Do you want it? And I've sort of been like, well, no, I don't want it, but I don't want it to see it get wasted, and I will be able to find someone who wants it. So that's kind of what I'm planning to do soon, is I'm actually going to make some of these available either for free or for very cheap for people to grab if they want them. I'll be keeping a few things myself. I've only got one functional iMac, as in G3 iMac. I've got heaps of iMacs, but I've only got one functional G3 iMac, and it's a Snow one. I want to keep that. I think I might have another one, or did I sell it? Might have sold it. You know, things like I've got a, you know, G4 dual processor, one of the original platinum ones, what do they call them? No, what were the grey ones? That were like a dual 450 megahertz. I really want to keep that. That's not going anywhere. But then I've got some other ones. I need kind of one of everything, you know, of all of the different G4s and stuff like that, but I don't need multiples. And then I've got a whole stack of mirror drive door G4s with a shit broken power supply that have been recapped and is still not working. In the modern era, I'm a huge fan of the Mac Studio. Yeah, two of my friends have got a Mac Studio. I think at least two, maybe more. And absolutely, they're a fantastic Mac. I ended up buying a Mini instead for my daily driver, and I have reasons for that. I was at the time that this Mini came out, it was actually faster than the Studio. It's the M2 Pro. Does that sound right? M2 Max? M2 something? And yeah, as I say, at the time it came out, it was actually beating the speed of the available Studio. And so I grabbed that, and I've been very, very happy with it, I have to say. I mean, it's funny, it's a Mini, and it's so small, but it's so powerful. A stinky case. Why does the case stink? And what does the case stink of? Stinky mirror drive door case. Is it like cigarette smoke or something like that? It's a bit rough when you get hold of computers that have been owned by smokers, isn't it? Amazes me when I still see people smoking in this country, because cigarettes are so expensive. I often look at them and I sort of think, what are you doing without in order to pay for those smokes? Gotta put this little diode in, and gotta make sure that I put it in same way around. And it's this way. Oh god, this leg's a little bit wonky, so I'm gonna fix it up. Make it easier to go into the hole. There we go. It looks a bit better. Reeks of cig smoke, yeah. And one you said you might have a spare, but Australia's a bit too far away. Yeah, that's the problem. It's a big thing to move, you know. I mean, because I ended up with a lot more mirror drive doors than I meant to. I really only wanted one, and I sort of started looking, and then I had, I don't know, I got like 2 or 3 in one go from someone that was just offloading them. Oh, that's right. I bought 2 on eBay, and then I got another one, and then I got another one. So I think I've got like 4 of them. And I don't need 4. No one needs 4 mirror drive doors. My parents used to actually own one. They bought one ages ago. Obviously when they were brand new. Spent a bit of money on them. No, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. No, yes, no, yes. Okay. Right, well, it may not feel like we've made much progress, but we have. I mean, I've moved quite a lot of components along here, all the way along there. All these little resistors and all capacitors and all that, they're all moved across. So now we've kind of got this lovely, clean line along here, and then big fat things. Big fat things. So we're going to move the big fat things now. And these are the things that bridge the gap between the primary and secondary power supply. The ouch part and the not ouch part. Okay, thank you for joining, Kai. Sleep well. Old man naps sitting in my chair, I know that feeling. You didn't miss anything in the last half hour. I didn't do anything particularly interesting. We are making progress though. But thank you for joining. Sleep well, sir. Enjoy your Saturday. Let's hope it's not as hot as ours, which I can't imagine it will be in winter. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just do these while I'm doing the line. You can see how incredibly efficient this solder sucker is. I mean, literally, with every one of these, they've only ever needed like one pump to get all the solder off. Okay. I think. Yay, it's coming off. Yay. Now, I know this whole thing's going to work because Colin guaranteed it would. He promised me. He said, oh, yeah, you bet it'll work. 100%. Itchy nose. One of the downsides to using doing through-hole solder is when I'm doing this, I'm using the flux in the solder, and it works perfectly well, but it leaves behind this brown residue. It's pretty ugly. I mean, I'll just clean it all off with a toothbrush. It's not like I'm going to ultrasonically clean it or anything like that, but it is that this sort of flux leaves a really ugly residue behind. Paul B2529, welcome. Sorry for missing so many. That's okay. You're forgiven. I was not going to stream. Originally, I wasn't going to stream today because of the reason you see up in the top left-hand corner of the screen, and that is that it is currently 40 degrees. And that's very, very hot, very uncomfortable, and very not nice. And I'm down here in a shed with a little air conditioner that is doing its darndest to keep me cool. And doing, let's say, a less than satisfactory job of keeping me cool, but better than nothing. But then I was just sort of thinking to myself, if I do a live stream today, I'll definitely get a feeling of having done something. And if I don't do a live stream and then I get to the end of the day and I haven't done anything, I'll be like, what a waste of a day. This way, uh-oh. Chat. Okay. Am I back? All right. Am I back? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Am I back? I've got to fix the picture just a sec. You are getting sound. Good. Circuit breaker. Too many air conditioners running at the one time. Well, and a kettle. The kettle was the thing that kicked it over. Air conditioner in here, air conditioner in there, all on the one circuit. Then the kettle went on. Bang. Okay, so let me just sort out this crazy picture. And we'll go here to... Boom. That one is that one. And then we'll go here to that one. And we'll go like that. That's a little bit better. Okay, looking good. And then let's just see what we're seeing at the top. Yep, we've zoomed right out. It always does that when it switches off and on again. Telephoto. Zoom. 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 Come on. Zoom. There we go. Okay. Pick up from where we left off, eh? The chickens won't be... I won't be able to show you the chickens anymore because that computer has not been switched back on again. So. Okay, yeah, so basically this is just an issue with too many things on the one circuit. We have... too many things on the one circuit, basically. I have investigated resolving that, but I haven't got to that stage just yet. But anyhow, I've got my air conditioner on. Yeah. Joy, oh joy, oh joy. So where was I up to? I was soldering things. I was in the middle of talking about something, I can't remember, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, whoa, what's happened? Why is it dark? Okay, we're good? All right. When the tip is ready, press a button. There we go. Tip is always ready. All right. Now I have no idea how long I've been streaming for, because it resets. So now it's telling me that I've been streaming for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay. This won't be able to tell me. Stop. Stop. Okay. Stop. Do. Delete that. Turn there. Here we go. I can't seem to connect. There it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Content. God, I love this TV. This is a TV I found on the side of the road and repaired it. And I've now got a TV up here as my second screen. And I love it. It's so sharp. My old TV was rubbish. My old TV was a crappy Kogan. Live for an hour and a half. I've been going for an hour and a half. There we go. So yeah, all I really need to do, in order to stop the thing from tripping all the time, is I just need to break the circuit up into two different things. And I've figured it out. The one thing that would resolve all of our problems is to just put the kitchen on a separate circuit. So that's the microwave, that's the toaster, that's the kettle. If I just put the kitchen on a separate circuit, I'll be fine. The oven's on a separate circuit, the stovetop's on a separate circuit. Our big air conditioners are on separate circuits, but yeah, I need to... Oh, and the bathroom's on a separate circuit. But, yeah. So, yeah, I've just got to add another one to the panel. So, which is easy enough to do. I mean, I'm not meant to do it, but, you know. I won't tell if you don't. Bing. Bing. The one thing I don't like is getting up into the ceiling cavity. Once upon a time I was fine with that. But now that I am old and fat, it's not as much fun. Last time I got up there I thought I was going to die. I'm like, this used to be so easy. Oh, I'd hate to be up there now. And when you say sort of attic, I mean, we generally, when we say attic, we talk about a space that is actually like a livable type space. It's not a livable space. It is basically just a ceiling cavity. But in this house, that's where pretty much all the wiring is. So you got to climb up there in a ladder, on a ladder, crawl through the little hole, get up in there, and yeah, I wouldn't do it on a day like today, I can promise you that. And wait to a slightly cooler day. Because, yeah, I hate to think what the temperature would be out there. Hey, where's my thermometer? Oh, I know why the thermometer's not here. It's because the internet wasn't connected at the time I did it. Oh, the server's not on. That's why I have that little temperature thing running on one of my servers, and that server has not restarted after the... Thank you to everyone who decided to stick around. I can see the numbers plummeted there a little bit, and when they came back up again, I can see some didn't come back. Looking at the numbers there, a lot came back, but some didn't come back. They're obviously just like, nah, that's my cue to go. But for those who did stick around for the technical issues to be resolved, I thank you for your persistence and your dedication. And I know the real reason is you're just like, we've got to see how this power supply turns out. Don't forget to smash that like button. Shall we do one? We'll do one. You ready? Block your ears.
Smash that like button.
I probably need to update that nowadays. I mean, it was a bit of an in-joke back in the day. Now I think it's just getting a bit tired. I'm just going to give this one a little bit more. I didn't feel like I melted that one enough. Okay, is it coming off? Yay, that was nice and easy. That solder sucker really does do a good job. I put little bowl of water out there for the local birdies because it is so hot. So we get a few little birds hanging around so they can drink. I can actually hear a raven at the moment. I think he's having a bit of a whinge about how hot it is. Steve is here. Hello there. You missed all the excitement. I just had managed to trip a circuit breaker, so my live stream stopped there for a second. Have you been doing anything interesting, Steve? I feel like it's been a while since we saw a live stream from you, so that must mean there is one on the horizon. Just don't do it tomorrow, because I'm going to be out and I won't be able to watch. You watch, you'll do it tomorrow. Hopefully Sunday. That's my Monday. I can live with that. I'll be out for part of that day, but only a part of it, so hopefully it won't be the same time as you're live streaming. Oh, I hear sirens. Hope it's not fire engines. Pretty dangerous weather here at the moment. Okay, so I started off and I had already done that section and some of this section, and then I've done all of this section now, sort of the rest of that section and this section, so definitely making progress. I still feel like there's a load more to do, but definitely progress. 401. I set up all this new stuff on one of my servers, And I've never actually restarted the computer to see if all the stuff is still going to work after a restart. So I guess I'll find that out today. I set myself up with a Nextcloud server. I don't know if anyone here knows of Nextcloud, has heard of Nextcloud, but it's effectively like setting up your own personal Dropbox. And it's really quite nifty. And I will give my friends like Steve access to it. But he hasn't asked for access to it yet, so I'm not offended. R401. That's it there. Tiny weeny little resistor. In you get. There we go. I mean, basically Nextcloud is really, it's very, very well made. It's super slick. It's got this lovely interface, and it's got apps that you can download on your phone or on your desktop computer, and you can run synchronization stuff, so it'll actually synchronize your stuff onto your Nextcloud, and you can have shared folders that you share with friends. So if you want to upload something to then give your other friends access to it and stuff, you can do all that. As I say, but you do it on, it's instead of doing it on the cloud sort of thing, you do it on your own server. All runs on PHP and MySQL, so you can drop it onto a lamp stack. Love saying lamp stack. Sounds cool, doesn't it? Hey man, lamp stack. Just say it sometimes, just in the middle of conversation. Lamp stack. Maybe I should have paid more attention to where this came from. Pretty sure that was it just there. R251. There it is. Yeah, that's it. No, it's a bit tricky to get to. I love the idea of creating like a Nextcloud server and having sort of like some vintage resources and stuff on it, but there's already things like the Macintosh Garden out there. I'm just really not sure that there's anything new I could add. Other than a sorry Christian, other than a better search engine. That's right, he doesn't watch my live streams. I've got some solder on one of the pins of these, so it's just not getting into the little teeny weeny hole. So, just got to try and melt some of this crap off without melting my finger. I tried a hotline server. I gave that a crack, but I just had nothing but technical problems with it. So I gave up and went with Nextcloud. I was able to get the hotline server up and running, but I just could not get it to create clients. It was just doing really weird, buggy stuff. Does Nextcloud have a classic Mac OS client? Not that I'm aware of, but it is... Oh, I can't even imagine the website would work on it. I suspect not. I haven't investigated, but I suspect not. Got it. Got it. Ow. Okay, that's there. So that means that's there. On she goes. I really thought this would be so done by now. So many more components than I kind of anticipated. Yeah, I tried Mobius, couldn't get it to work. And I could get it to run as a server, and I could connect to it, but I just could not create any other clients for it. It just kept on doing weird stuff. I then tried an older version of Mobius. I think it was Mobius that I tried an older version, and I can't actually. I'm getting the server and the clients mixed up. But yeah, I think the server was possibly okay, but the client, anyhow, the software I was using to try and set up users just would not work. And I tried for a while, and I gave up. And I said, not for me. They're getting a little bit chunky down this end of the board, crusty, I should say. There's been some leakage on these caps, and that's sort of corroded the board somewhat. And so getting some of this solder to melt is becoming a little bit more challenging. Yeah, got it. Okay. Just checking on the chat here, all good. I'm going to probably wrap this up fairly soon. Not because I don't want to get this finished, because I bloody do, but I am hot. Uncomfortably hot. I have become uncomfortably hot. Just going to see if I can get the little... just bear with me a second here. Just going to try this. Where is it? Weather. Just going to remember. Okay, so that server should be up. So... Can I refresh it? Yeah, let's refresh. 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 It's not refreshing. Just trying to get the weather to come back up again, but doesn't appear to be. I'll just check and see if I can get that server to come up here. V. No. That server must be down still. That one's supposed to just come up by itself when it goes down, but there could be another problem that I'm not aware of, so there'll be no weather for now. But I can tell you, it's still 40 degrees. Alright, what was I doing? I was taking a diode off, wasn't I? Yes. This one here. Diode. What is the view above the face cam? It's the microscope. Watch. Microscope. And what it's pointing at the moment, well, there's a little Raspberry Pi thingy down there. You think you can see a bit of the Raspberry Pi logo there. And then things sitting on top of it is a creation that a friend of mine made that I'm in the process of testing. No luck with it yet, but I do need to spend some more quality time on it. It's a recreation of a particular product that came out a long time ago. And it will be a very good thing if we can get it working. But at the moment, no such luck. Yep, that's down there. It's a Raspberry Pi. What is it, a Pico? I think it's a Pico. Zero. Raspberry Pi Zero. That's the more powerful one, isn't it? Me not melting is more important than getting the project finished today. Yeah, the other big problem I have is I don't actually have a working 2SI down here. So if I was to test this out, I'd actually have to go up to the house and grab a 2SI. I mean, you can power a lot of things with this. You can power 2CI as well. Yeah, a little resistor here. I just have this feeling as I'm doing this, when is the point, when is a good time to stop? I keep looking and think, oh, I'll stop after that one. And then, oh, I'll stop after that one. Yoy. Okay, let's see if we can get you out now. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I haven't been taking any note of any of the measurements on any of these components. So if I happen to lose one and, you know, like drop it somewhere where I can't find it, I will be forced to grab another one so that I can find the component. I'm not even sure where I took that one from. There it is. So he is 213, I think that is. Yep, just there. I feel fairly confident that I've put all of the components in the right place. I mean, I'm not sort of feeling like when I go to start this up that I've done anything wrong. At this stage, I don't feel that way. Have I ever had a disc ceramic cap fail short? I don't think I've ever had a disc ceramic cap fail, to be honest. They seem to just last forever. I mean, unless there's something horrendously wrong with it. I maybe have to replace one once. I'll tell you what I did have once. I had an electrolytic cap fail short. And everyone says, oh, tantalum caps always fail short, but electrolytic caps don't fail short. Well, I had an electrolytic cap fail short, so there you go. Can't be right. It's not right. Oh, whoever put this resistor in really wanted to bend those pins. Whoever it was on the assembly line. We'll call them Mr. Bendy. Stay. There we go. That's better. Is there a repo link for this PCB? As in the one that I'm working on, the TWEEZERS. I don't know. I think the people that needed to ask that question to have since gone from the chat. Those two people would have been Colin from This Does Not Compute. He might still be around somewhere, I'm not sure. He might be floating in the wings. Or Kai Robinson. And he just went to bed a little while ago because he's in the UK. And it's bloody late over there. Ow. Just, does anyone else smell burning skin there? There we go. I think this will probably come out now. There we go. It's all getting a little bit snug around here. If I think I was to build this from scratch, I would have built, you know, with a very different sort of structure in mind in terms of which components get done first and which get done last. But because I'm building this just moving one component at a time, you know, I've got some instances where I'm finding myself in some fairly tight locations here. Stop being a douche. Was it there? I think it was there. See? 224, yes. Whatever it is, I like it. Scarlet Swordfish, hello there, welcome. Hello Carthor, welcome. We are just working our way across the line here, assembling this board. So this is the old board, this is the new board, and that's what's left to do. Some of those capacitors are just going to be replaced with new ones. I'm not going to transfer the old ones over, but I'm just transferring all these resistors and these little ceramic capacitors across. I will at a certain point stop, because it is just obscenely hot where I am right now. I'm in the shed and it is about 40 degrees Celsius outside. If you're not a Celsius person, you may need to translate that, but it is very, very uncomfortable, very unpleasant. And I think that once I finish these little nest of ceramic capacitors, I will probably wrap it up, because I have been going now for over 2 hours. Even though I did have a slight pause in the middle for a circuit breaker going off due to 2 air conditioners and a kettle all running on the same circuit. Toopy toopy toop. Toopy toop. Oh, I just lost a great big piece of trace. Thank goodness I don't need it anymore. You can see how unhappy the chickens are. I said at the beginning of the live stream regarding this power supply work that I'm doing at the moment, I'm doing this, you know, bit of fun, assembling things. I like assembling things. It's one of the things I like doing. It's all good. But the truth of the matter is that there are much more practical options available, I think, unless you're sort of just a purist, but there are more practical options available for replacing the power supply in a 2SI. Ones that take a lot less work than what I'm doing at the moment. So I am doing this. It's fun, and that's all great. But it's, if I was just repairing a 2SI, I'm not sure I would go to these lengths. Colin from This Does Not Compute very kindly sent this board to me, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing it, because it's, you know, it's a project, it's a live stream, it's a bit of fun. But if I had like a bank of 2SIs that weren't working, I would not be wanting to have to do this for all of them. What sorts of options? Okay, so there are one of the places to check out would be KMac Vintage's store. There are options where you can basically buy. There are two options that I'm aware of. There may be more, but one of the options is you can basically buy a blank PCB, and you get hold of a 12-volt power supply, one that's recommended. I've got one here, one that's recommended. Very cheap 12-volt power supply. I mean, when I say cheap, inexpensive. It's a good power supply. You plonk that on there, and then you get a Pico ATX. And the Pico ATX is a tiny little thing that you input 12 volts and it outputs a whole bunch of other voltages like plus 12, minus 12, plus 5, minus 5, all that sort of stuff. So you use a Pico ATX, and they're only a few dollars, and then you use this 12-volt power supply, which, you know, then gets rigged up to the mains, and it works as a 2SI power supply. Works beautifully. I've got one up there. It doesn't work at the moment because I used the Pico ATX for something else and accidentally fried it, but that's another story. The other option is you can buy a board that it uses two separate power supply modules, I think a 5-volt and a 12-volt, I think. And you can just solder, they just solder on as, you know, you get the PCB in the correct shape like this, and you just solder them on, plonker to plonker. And there's not much else, you just got to do the wires and stuff like that. It's pretty straightforward. And yeah, it's really, really simple. The Pico ATX one that I got works beautifully, but I've since been told that the other one is actually better to go with the other one. So, yeah. A lot of Australian houses have really bad thermal properties. If we had a cold snap, we would freeze to death. This is very true. Our house here has absolutely horrendous insulation. There's some insulation in the ceiling. There's some insulation under the floor, not all of the house, but some of the house where I've put it there. The walls, so it's a house that's a timber framed house with, you know, we call it gyprock. What is it? Sheet, you know, the chalk sheet stuff. As we call it gyprock. And then on the outside it's like sort of an insulated cladding. But there's no insulation in between. There's just an empty space inside. No double glazing on the glass or anything. Houses in Australia are not built, particularly ones built in this era. House I live in was built in the 60s. Just not really made with good insulation or anything like that. Sheetrock, yeah, that'll do. Plasterboard, sheetrock, plasterboard, both of those, them, yeah. Drywall, that's another one. So all of those are good words. I just stop going outside when it gets to 40 degrees. It's a good idea, but I just came down here to do some soldering and a live stream, and some may call me a fool. Two more capacitors and then I'm going to wrap it up, my friends. Because the other thing is, like here in Australia, so particularly where I am in Australia, I'm in Western Sydney, you know, our idea of cold, the coldest it ever gets here, where I live, we might get down to -3 or -4 degrees Celsius in winter. That's probably about the coldest I've ever had here. And that's pretty rare. It's pretty warm here. It never snows, and it does not snow in this part of the world ever, ever, ever. So it's not like, oh, you know, it occasionally snows or something. It does not snow here ever. Get a bit of hail sometimes. Big hail too. We had this amazing hailstorm some years ago in this area. And the hailstones were just massive. Geez, did we get some damage. We got damaged tiles on the roof. We got... my wife's car got her windscreen smashed. I was up there the next day repairing tiles and everything because we were going away. So I had to get it fixed before we went away. I just soldered the wrong thing. I soldered something that I had already soldered. Same component. So at least I'm sort of partially on the money. Sounds like we've got a raven and a magpie having a bit of a tussle out there. Hey. Come on. This is the last one. This is the last one before I wrap it up today. So, let's have fanfare. Ceramic capacitor. Yay. Last ceramic capacitor for the day. Put a mini split in there. Yeah, look, I should put a split in here. It would work a lot better. I don't know where I'd put the outlet. I've got no wall space whatsoever. But it would work so much better. I mean, the air conditioning that I put in here was really, I guess, a band-aid to an issue. And it works well. This is a very small shed. I only really need it when I'm down here working, and I'm only down here working occasionally, so it's probably not a huge thing. But yeah, there's no doubt about the fact that a split system would work way better down here than this portable does. I do spend a few hours live streaming. It's not always this ridiculously hot though. I mean, a lot of the time I come down here and I don't even have the AC on, but I'd contribute to a fundraiser to get you a mini split system. I'm not sure I could ask people to do that given the fact that I actually bought this air conditioner, this portable air conditioner, through funds that I got through, what do you call them? What are those things called? The where you send the money through YouTube? I can't remember what you call them. I've just gone blank. Super Chat. There it is. Yeah, so basically what happened, there was one day, this is a few years ago now, but I was down here live streaming in the middle of summer. It was ridiculously hot. It was stinking need an air conditioner here. And it just started up a thing, you know, everyone was sort of like, oh, you know, here's to your new air conditioner, here's to your new, and I just ended up having streams of super chats coming in during that live stream. Here's for your air conditioner, here's for your, and I literally did end up with enough money. I had to chip a little bit extra in, but I literally did end up with enough money, almost enough money, to buy a portable air conditioner. I bought this one and it's been great. It has been fantastic. It has just made a huge difference to the usability of this space. But it's a big ask when you get up into the 40s. You know, when that temperature starts with a 4, it's a big ask for any air conditioner, really. And for these portables, they're just not made for that. Air conditioning is also good for rust prevention in shed. It is excellent because it does dry the air out. I'm having a lot of trouble talking today. Sorry about that. All right, so let's just have a little quick look here, a bit of a recap of what we've done today, where we started. So where we started, I had pretty much I had what's on the left here done, and these two capacitors. What we have done since then is the little relay here, all of these little components floating around here, all along here, and these big chungies guys here, and then we've got those there. And then so what remains is what we see on here. And so we've got a few little weird things. That looks like a choke or something, I don't know, but a filter. And we've got a thing, and then another thing, and then we've got this thing. This thing could probably go on now. I think I've got enough space for it. I was worried about putting it on before because I thought it would be too hard, but yeah, I reckon now everything's sort of moved out of the way. I can probably put this on. So this goes on there like that. Yeah, so we're getting very close to completion. I was hoping I might get it finished today, but I really did totally underestimate how many little bits and bobs there were to solder on. I thought, a handful of capacitors, no big deal. Wrong! So we've got 3 there. Got to get these pins kind of lined up to get this to go on. That's pretty darn close. I'll just bring that out a little bit more. No, too far. Too far. This one sucks. Trying to get all these bits on at the one time. Because you've got to, I mean, I could unscrew these components and I could do it in parts, but I'm like, no, way too stubborn for that. Okay, that's good. Get in the holes. Do it. Why am I having so much trouble? They look like they line up, but they obviously don't. Which one of you is being an asshole? Hey. Oh, that was a nice, satisfying click. Until it goes click. Oh, they did it too. Ah, it's on. It's on for young and old. Rejoice, rejoice. Okay, I'm going to solder this on because it's here. I mean, I've done it. I know I said I was going to finish, but I just couldn't resist the temptation to get this on as well. There we go. So nice. Hello, Magpie. Magpies are very smart, and the other thing about them is that they recognize faces. So when you kind of come out and they look at you and they know it's you. This magpie in particular is very sort of, it doesn't run away Kind of just hangs around because it knows I'm no threat. All right, there we go. That's actually looking way better now, isn't it? With that on there, don't you reckon? It sort of feels more like it's a almost complete thing. Lovely. That's very satisfying. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, as usual, I'm just going to jump over here to that, and then I'm going to do that. And I'm going to say a big thank you to everyone. I hope you like my new glasses, my lovely new glasses, where I can see much better now. It is looking almost complete. I mean, let's face it, we've only got a few little bits and pieces left, you know, just a handful. I'm not even going to use these caps. I'm going to put new ones in. Thank you. Yes, they're multifocals because I'm old. Yeah, fun. So, as usual, thank you to everyone for joining today. I apologise I haven't been releasing the content at the pace that I would like to be releasing. I've got lots of stuff in the wings. I'm actually going to be redoing a video that I did. I did a video ages ago that's been a very successful video, but I look at it these days and I go, oh, God, if I could only do that again. And I'm thinking I might actually do an updated version, 2026 version of one of my other videos. I've got various other things in the wings, other videos that I'm going to be producing, so hopefully I'll get those out fairly soon, and whatnot. And so, yeah, a big thank you to everyone. It is 41 degrees now, so we've reached what this actually thinks is the peak. I think we might get hotter than that. We've still got a few hours of heat to go. It's saying that it is still likely to be like in the mid 30s at like 9 o'clock tonight, so that'll be fun. So thank you for joining me on this stinking hot day, and thank you for all the chats, keeping the chat lively, keeping me company while I do all this stuff as usual. So thank you again. I hope to be live streaming in the not too distant future, and hopefully releasing some other content soon as well. So thanks again. Have a good one. Bye now.